Good to see you, Tom. It's been a
Always
while.
good to see you, Paul. Yes, it has. We saw each other for quite some time in the early beginning, didn't we?
Yeah, we were doing that implementation podcast, so we'd meet like every week and follow your journey and see how it was going and what did you learn and how are you applying it. And but you've
Yeah.
been often flying. I wouldn't say just running. You've been flying for a few years now. And it was just you and me. I mean, it was just you when we first, or maybe you had a like a part-time person, right?
When it was just me, actually, when you and I spoke for the first time, I hadn't even established the company officially yet.
Right.
I was just looking at
Yeah.
ERP systems, and you gave me that 2 hour or maybe even 3 hour.
A bunch of
Um,
yeah, a bunch of my favorite sort of friend customers started with me giving them like a 2 or 3 hour demo and just geeking out on it.
It was because I'd just come from being the SAP implementation manager from my other company.
Oh, I can't even
So
imagine.
I didn't want any more pain, and
Yeah.
it was it was ahead of that. Those were the good old days.
So you have grown a lot. And before we hit record, you said you're about to hire 3 people. So yeah, where are you up to? What are you doing?
We're at 13 right now, and we want to be 17 before the end of the year.
Okay.
And we've got a job offer out to one person, and looking another person's coming in from Michigan next week,
Oh
and
wow. You're really hiring
another.
from afar.
Everybody is from afar. Mississippi, Florida, two people from California, one from Colorado,
Wow.
um,
Wow.
Ohio, two people from Ohio.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
term "build it and they will come" is coming to my head right now. So, yeah, I love what you're building there. So, sounds like you've been busy. Obviously, if you're hiring, you got work, you got chips to make, you got spindles to turn. Tell us about that.
Well, the easy part that I didn't know about was, writing a check for a piece of equipment and bringing it in here and getting it set up. The harder part, honestly, Paul, has been getting the right people. I made a lot of mistakes early on. We had almost 100% turnover last year.
Oh my gosh,
And
wow.
the problem I created on this is I was focusing on what the resume said, what the technical details that these people really knew.
Mm-hmm.
And what's super important to me is the kind of culture and people that we have. When we first started, we had two wonderful guys who, um, through just family issues, they ended up going back from wherever they came, one in the Georgia, Tennessee area, and the other back in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but it's very difficult to find cultural fit.
Yeah, and I would
And
agree that is more important than technical skill. You can teach technical skills, you can't teach culture at the same level. Like you can coach people and, and help scaffold them into being better, you know, um, cultural fits, but it's kind of in there or it's not to some degree, right?
it is, and it's owning a business is extremely difficult, as you know. But it is not worth it to me to have a toxic workplace environment, or
Absolutely.
people that you can't trust, or um,
No, there's got
we've
to
been
be
on AS 9100 and ISO, and you have to be able to believe that people are going to follow the process because it's a good process, right?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think having a zero tolerance policy on toxicity and lack of trust has got to be the standard.
It's okay to have the standard, but it's gut wrenching to call somebody into the office and say, "We got to call it a day. We got to let you go."
Yeah.
And whoa, and excruciating to do that. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Those are some of the hardest conversations ever as a business owner, so.
well, then everybody else gets stuck with the workload and your customers and, you
Mhm.
know, so that's been an enormous challenge, but the crew that we have right now, Paul, we have meetings every day, and I just told them yesterday, we're so proud of you.
Yeah.
So proud of people. They just give me a lump in my throat when I think of the what I call the gas, the give up,
Mhm.
and they've got a lot of gas,
I love it.
and it's great.
That's a good spot to be getting into. And now that you know what you're looking for and you're building that in the team, that will perpetuate itself. And I know for us, having our core values and truly hiring and firing based on those values is fundamental. It just is completely fundamental to building a strong team that functions well and is highly effective and focused on customers and focused on excellence and each other and supporting each other.
Yeah. I won't lie, there's so much pressure to, make the chips and ship the parts and, um, just be profitable and all that. But when you've got a crew that is owning the love that we have for our customers, we keep our guiding principles out on the lunch table, the conference room, in the engineering office. We keep them out. When we have a meeting, we pick a couple of our guiding principles, how we treat our employees, our customers, and we just talk about one. What does it mean to do this? And
Hmm.
it makes what we do feel more like a mission than a job,
Yeah,
so to speak.
100%. Well, I firmly believe you can't over communicate on those things. Sometimes I
Mhm.
hear people, and I in my past have thought, oh yeah, we have our core values, we put it up on the wall, and that should be good. That is not
Mhm.
good. You could talk about it every day and it still won't be enough. So yeah, so kudos to you for really leaning into that and doing that with your team on a frequent basis. And I know that's helping build that flywheel of positive culture. So we were going to talk about ISO. I think these are just as rich and juicy topics, but it does probably segue into the fact that you are growing, you are expanding into new markets, you are no longer a one-man show. So congrats on that. And you have somewhat recently got ISO certified. Is that correct? I don't have my exact dates.
Yeah, I want to say we did that back in August of last year.
Okay.
We got our certification, and we had our gap analysis for AS 9100 about 6 weeks ago, and we had our AS final audit scheduled, but the auditor got very sick for a number of weeks, so
Oh, bummer.
we had to push that out till the first or second week of May. Um,
Okay. But it is mid-April, so that's just a few weeks away, less than a month.
Right, and we had the auditor come back actually yesterday and the day before, just to say, okay, I'm going to give you a free like spot check, and we're a ProShop user, and this auditor has been in the business for 30 years auditing aerospace companies, all the big names, and she's a rock star in the industry. She sits on the board of, I'm sorry, I don't know the governing board of AS.
Right.
She's never seen ProShop, and she came in for our initial gap analysis and then came back this week. She said, I've never seen anybody cover as much ground as thoroughly as you all have covered what we needed to go over regarding the AS requirements, because as she explained it to me, the AS standard is really more about the quality of your company rather than the company's quality products. I had come from a ERP implementation from Brand X. And the thing that was important to me was that the QMS, there be a QMS module. And when you and I were interviewing for the first time, it was like, okay, this isn't really a module. It's more of a key ingredient in the cake, right? It's not a
Sure.
bolt-on.
No.
It's there everywhere. It's permeated throughout the software. So I knew a whole lot less about ISO 9000 than I did about ProShop, but it turns out once the auditors come in and start talking to you about getting audited, all they're talking about is ProShop. Really, really.
That's a good way to describe it. I love that. You know,
It's
this
it's
is
not an ISO
interesting.
standard, it's a ProShop standard.
It's interesting because there's this, I think, shift happening in the industry where some folks out there that are accustomed to kind of this bolt-on QMS module, or not even a module of your ERP, it's an entirely standalone system of file folders and cabinets and paper forms or electronic forms that are it's completely separate. Like wrapping their heads around how integrated it can be and the implications of how straightforward it is to have really robust compliance is it's like without seeing it and understanding it at a deep level, it's even hard to comprehend how integrated it can be. And I appreciate the way you described it. Like you didn't think you knew about ISO or AS, but after they came and started telling you about the requirements, you're like, oh yeah, that's what ProShop does. Let me just show you. So
Well, one of the reasons why the auditor scheduled extra time is on our ISO audit was because they didn't understand it, and frankly they didn't believe us. I mean,
yeah,
and to say we had zero findings, no, it was 100% across the board, and I don't. I think we did very little prep work beforehand. Just some things to remind us what, where the direction was and so
sure.
forth. But as far as like getting ready for our audit, meant just informing the shop, hey, there's going to be some people around here. They're going to come around and interview you, and make sure your training is up to date. And
Right. Well, that concept of being always audit ready sounds like you were there without even really thinking that much about it, but you have been disciplined in keeping all the records and doing all the things, which for me is just a foundational principle for quality and safety of the products you're building anyway. And it happens to be also the most profitable way to run a business because you're not scrapping, you're not reworking, you're not scrambling behind schedule because you're keeping on top of stuff. Not that those things don't surface sometimes out of your control, but when you can really minimize it, that's just good business.
I will tell you that I cannot think of any instance where we've really screwed up. And I mean, trust me, we've really screwed up a lot. But I don't think that there is any instance that you could say, well, the reason why you screwed up was anything other than somebody trying to circumvent the system.
Mm.
And they think they have a better way. It's easier for them if they had this spreadsheet over here, or
Yes, I've heard that before.
I'm serious. We've been very late with a couple of jobs because outside processing was not followed in the system. It,
Oh, wow.
I don't know, and it's a painful lesson, and
Yeah,
it's one that you just have to keep being disciplined.
right.
Um, this is a tough business,
It's the
and
hardest in the
those,
world. Go to my grave saying it. So, Tom, had you been involved in audits of any kind, ISO or AS or any other kind in your previous companies and past?
no, not directly.
Okay, your
I
companies
can't.
had, but not you as a key stakeholder.
Right, right,
Got it. Yeah.
yeah.
Would you
Uh,
I would imagine did those audits feel, even though they were efficient and fast, did they feel robust to you?
In my previous work or
Yeah,
in
I
this
guess,
one?
I mean, if you hadn't been in audits previously, you wouldn't have really much to compare it to. But no, the audit you went through, like it was a thorough assessment of the company and all the objective evidence to the standard.
I have to tell you, Paul, that the primary result that I felt out of our ISO audit was not just a sense of pride that we were doing things the right way, but also, even though we passed with flying colors, it really gave me food for thought for this continuous improvement ideas in some way that we can grow, where we're doing things right, but that's really an opportunity area. And I felt that the auditor that we had was really excellent. She came in with uh, she was from Missouri, the Show Me
Okay.
state, and so as we went down the path of showing her what we were doing, um, her it was an epiphany moment, an epiclesis moment, like I had no idea what this is, but I'm going to be recommending this to other people because I hadn't been through an audit before. And feel free to open the hood and look around because I wasn't really 100% sure what she was going to be looking for. But it was so nice to say, "Ooh, that's nice. Look at this. Oh, isn't that shiny?"
Right.
And it's so elegant to just be able to click, oh, boom, up on the screen. There it is. And we're not flipping through file folders. Everything was done very elegantly, which I don't know. I can't tell you that I even know how much I pay for ProShop. I have honestly no idea. But when you've got the results like that, that just seem so natural to the way that you run your business, and you have a professional whose job it is to help you by uncovering some areas of opportunity and where you can grow. Although she did definitely come up with areas of how we do our training more
Yeah.
than do you do the training,
You're right.
but what else can you include and so forth. And we
Nice.
take that part. We really
Yeah,
do.
I'm sure you do.
So it was actually a fun event because you went to a game that you knew you were going to win.
Yeah. Wow. That's just music to my ears and food for my soul, Tom. That's awesome. Um, yeah, and it was a different auditor for AS now, not the same person.
Yes.
Yeah,
No, not the
got
same
it.
at all.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you're set up, pretty well for the next few weeks, and excited to have that cert on your wall soon. How would you describe the journey to ISO and then to AS as how it relates to your ability to expand and grow into new markets and customers?
We'll probably have a couple of things to say about that. While we started out before I even bought my building or equipment, I bought the ERP. It was something that I knew was going to be important. So one thing that was very much on my mind, Paul, was that I did not want to have a piece of paper on the office wall that said you're certified without the activity within the four walls being certifiable activity and people who knew what
Could
they
not
were
agree
doing.
more. Yeah.
I did not want to rush into this. But now, because we're growing, I'm talking to, I've got a stack of business cards here on my desk. And if you can think of an aerospace or space company, their card is right here on my desk. And So I went to the helicopter expo out in Anaheim, California. This has been
Yes.
probably four
Yeah.
or 5 weeks.
Yep.
And I don't know, I've been to 100 trade shows at least in my life. And I was a little reluctant. I would go up to Brand X and I said, I'm an owner of a small machine shop in South Carolina, and we're here to get some business from you. And I just thought I was going to be rejected out of
Hmm.
hand. But I will tell you, it took me the morning of the second day before I realized every single person that I spoke to said almost the exact same thing in a different way. We're having so many problems finding qualified machine shops who will ship us good product on time. Let
Wow.
me take your call. And I'm engaged with conversations with probably no less than, I don't know, 25 people here. And I've
Wow.
gotten work from 3 of them in 5 weeks
Since the expo. Wow.
since the expo.
That
I went
is
up to the
so
MRO
incredible.
show in Chicago, and it was the same thing. Sitting down with I don't think they mind because we don't have an NDA with them, but Airbus, Able Aerospace, Zenith Aerotech, Spirit Aerospace, and they're like, as soon as you have that AS 9100 certification, give us a call. We're ready. Can you come visit us before you get that so that
No
we can talk
kidding.
about it?
So
It's like,
I know that I think I've seen you because you've tagged me a few times and us on some of the machining Facebook groups or others, networking groups for machine shops. And there's so many shop owners in there that are like, hey, I'm kind of dying for work. What are you guys doing to find work? It seems obvious based on what you've just said in the last few minutes, but what would your advice be to a shop owner that is not flush with work right now?
I would say if you're a good machine shop owner, you've got good people, good equipment, and you can produce good parts. I can only think of one reason why you're not turning away work. And that is because you think you're a machine shop. And I never thought that I'm a machine shop or I own a machine shop. I always thought of RX Industries as a sales organization that goes out and creates relationships with people who need machining done. But we, we could pave parking lots, for a living,
Right.
but we would still be a sales organization, primarily serving customers, and machining is just the way that we do it. That's
You're giving me goosebumps here, Tom. That is such sage advice. And I know it's what people need to hear, and I have the goosebumps because I'm excited for them to hear it, and I'm excited for them to lean into it and learn and improve their businesses and make better outcomes for them and their communities.
I would tell you this, the fruit of being sales oriented, and let's say that you are not a salesperson.
Oh, many are not.
Um,
Yeah.
and hey, everybody has their talent. Then as the owner of your shop or the leader of your organization, the main thing that you need to do is find somebody who catches fire with you to present what your mission is out there in the field. Because if you're not doing that, it's a disservice to this country. And I just want to say that straight up. Machining, CNC machining is of national security interest. General Fig Newton, retired 4-star Army general, I'm sorry, Air Force, pardon me, Fig, Air Force general, came and visited us. We were so happy to have him in our shop floor. And he looks around at the work that we're doing. And he said, this is of national security interest. You must do this and you must do it to the best of your ability, night and day. Do not ever give up on that. And just to inspire the shop people, everybody in this company to really excel, because we're not making video games for people to spend their time idly by on. We're not
Yeah,
making TikTok videos. We're
absolutely.
doing something that creates hardware for extremely important things, space exploration and good airplane parts and all that kind of stuff. But
Our defense industry. Yeah.
the defense industry, right?
Wow.
Um, but I desperately want people to change their mind about what it is that they're supposed to be doing. And without exaggeration, I don't think that it's any exaggeration whatsoever to say that in general, we're probably turning away 50 RFQs a week and probably upwards of 15 jobs a week.
Hmm.
Um, for various reasons, they're not our work. We don't have the equipment available in their time frame.
Yeah.
But um, but I truly believe that's because we're set up with the right systems in place. But I think that we have the right attitude as to where we as a company want to position ourselves out there, and we think about it every day and we act on it every day, just as much as making chips.
Hmm.
Just so
Wow.
I hope these do get involved with that.
Yeah. So I know you came from a much larger organization previously, and you are on your path to growing uh, to a really nice size shop. How do you feel like you're situated, particularly with the systems in ProShop, as you scale to, and I don't know what your goal is, if you want to have a 100-person shop someday or
No,
20 or 50 or whatever,
30,
but
35 is my number.
35 is your number. That's a nice number. I really like it. Um, do you feel like just mainly maybe in contrast to your previous company, I'm fishing a little bit here for just the systems that ProShop has built and the ability to scale into bigger than you want to get, companies that need to have all the checks and balances and the systems. How would you feel uh, ProShop sort of sets the stage for that or brings the tools to the table for that?
You will remember that when I bought ProShop, there was one person at RX Industries. That was me.
Yes.
And I cannot tell you how many posts that I've seen online that people say we're too small to buy an ERP. Um, and my inner thinking about this is the only problem that you would have buying ProShop is if you're a gigantic behemoth whose inertia is too much to change to the right system. And so as we've grown from just me to 13 people, and we are made an offer today to our 14th people, we've got our 15th person coming for an interview and our 16th person on their way for an interview. Um, the growth of the company is almost immaterial to how ProShop operates. It takes me 5 minutes to set up a new operator, a new person in ProShop,
Mhm.
and their uptake of how ProShop works is, I'll be honest with you, we don't spend a whole lot of time training on ProShop because it's all there. All they have to do is follow the links. So being able to go from one person to hopefully 17 people by the end of this year, it's not, I don't even think about that, to be honest with you. I don't think about my ERP when I think about my growth.
Mhm.
I mean, because
Sure.
it's almost infinitely elastic in that
If
area.
Yeah, if you did have aspirations to have a 135 person company, do you feel like ProShop would scale with you all the way to that size?
There isn't any reason why it wouldn't. There's no reason whatsoever. As a matter of fact, it'd probably be easier with 135 people to fill all the positions that ProShop has got a myriad of canned positions there
Yeah.
and with duties and everything that just, here's your job. It's right there in ProShop.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's all from our
so,
flying start package, I'm sure you're alluding to. So
okay.
yeah, well, Tom, I could not be more thrilled for your success and really inspired by the way you're building this company. Yeah, and then what was, supposed to be a short little, testimonial about getting ISO certified has turned into a really beautiful and fantastic video about, I think, the right way to build a sales-driven business that is founded on core principles and quality and uh, just a really strong foundation for, building the company of your dreams. So thank you for letting us be a part of that.
Well, I think there's two things that go into this is, first of all, I knew what kind of organization that I wanted to have. And it just so happens that you and your team that built ProShop for companies that share that vision. So there's that. The second thing is that I think the only time I've really gotten myself and our company in a lot of trouble is when we try to circumvent the system and not just follow the plan.
Right.
Um, so building this company has been made a lot easier because we have the right systems in place. And
I'm so glad for that because and that quite honestly speaks to some of the core of what I believe so strongly is that A, this is the hardest business in the world, and B, the people that start these businesses or buy them or or inherit them or whatever, need really good tools to make it less than a little bit easier because it is so difficult. It is such a challenging type of business, but yet so essential, as you said, for national security and everything else that gets made in the world. So if we can provide some tools that just make the day a little bit easier and help them grow and hire more people and build their communities, that is exactly our mission statement. So you're a living, breathing proof of our mission statement in action.
well, let me say something to if you're listening to this or watching it and you're thinking about an ERP system, let me save you a little bit of time. I come from a implementation manager from an enormous ERP system provider that's German based that you've heard of. I spent about 5 years in that role. And I started out, I believe these numbers are correct. I started out with a total list of about 220 or 30 potential ERP providers, whittled that down to somewhere around 20 viable ones, and whittled that down to 5 companies, I believe, that I got actual demos from. And I still keep in touch with the ERP community. I still know who's out there and what mergers are happening and so forth. Let me tell you, if you're thinking about an ERP system, there isn't really any competitor that I can honestly say, and I'm not just saying this out of confirmation bias. I'm saying this because, Paul, there's not a day that goes by that I don't think that was handled so eloquently. And that was easy to do that for that customer. A big space customer called me and said, I know we asked you to quote 32 of those parts. Could you make it 16? And while we were on the phone, I said, I just resent you that quote. Because all you have to do, you type in a few numbers, send it out. That's a level of professionalism and service. Maybe other people can do it. But when your whole system is that eloquent and easy and user friendly and customer focused, good luck finding another one.
Well, thank you, Tom. Appreciate it. Appreciate you. This has been a very delightful last half hour. And again, could not be more thrilled for your success and proud to be a partner with you on your journey. So yeah, thanks, and good luck with the actual AS final processes. I have no doubt you're gonna knock it out of the park, and look forward to continue to watch you grow.
I'll certainly let you know when we've got that accomplished, Paul.
All right, Tom. Well, thanks so much for your time today. Good seeing you.
Likewise.